Good morning! It is Thursday, also known as Thanksgiving Day in America. So thank you for joining us.
Every Thursday?
Every single Thursday is Thanksgiving in America, or at least it has been for the last year.
Might as well, right?
Good morning, everyone who's joined. We have an entire 7 people right now. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Heroes.
Gannon is in fact back there on the couch. Wasn't paying attention. Looks like he climbed the couch, sir. Gannon has a neck pillow because he got hurt. So he's wearing that for a few days, but he's fine. That's the only reason we didn't do the show a couple days ago. But yeah, we're here now. We just used it to go ahead and get ourselves up today, and we're gonna do. I'd say we're gonna do Thanksgiving things, but Thanksgiving doesn't really have a theme beyond like eating food. I was thinking like, ooh, should I get like different music? But I was like, what the hell would Thanksgiving music even be?
Instead of being thankful as fuck, how about I be pissed as shit?
Oh, so every day?
Yes.
I was gonna say we should engage in everyone's favorite Thanksgiving tradition and talk about Christmas.
What is Thanksgiving for again?
It's for eating a whole lot of food and intentionally forgetting the reasons why.
No, why did it start?
No, we don't cover that part.
No, legitimately, what is Thanksgiving for?
Thanksgiving is for... Honestly, I don't know where it actually started. I know where the schools taught me it started. It's supposed to be when Christopher Columbus came over and celebrated the first, union with the Native Americans, but that sure as hell did not happen that way.
There's no way that happened. Wait, I thought that was Columbus Day.
No, I mean, yeah, Christopher Columbus coming to America is definitely like a thing. But like, oh no, sorry, not Columbus. It's the Pilgrims, the other colonizers. American colonizers came to to North America. European colonizers, came to North America and had like one good interaction with the natives, and we celebrate that because it's the only shining spot of our founding. Assuming it happened, which it probably didn't.
Yeah, why would the Indians just be like, yeah, go? That's literally like us being like, hey, maybe we'll just take a chance and have some dinner with a couple of cannibals. They're just, haven't eaten this yet.
Who are you calling the cannibals?
The Pilgrims.
Oh, okay.
Like, literally, the murderers. What do you fucking mean? Who am I calling the cannibals?
I don't believe there was any cannibalization going on.
I know! That is like us sitting down with cannibals.
Okay,
I mean,
sure.
like, this is a good idea. And history's like, that happened.
Yeah.
That happened. You sat down with people who would just want you murdered. And then eat you, probably.
And yeah, I don't believe this event happened at all. I think it's a made up thing, and I don't really know what. I don't know. I would be curious to find out what the actual origins of Thanksgiving are. I know different countries have a similar like give thanks and eat food kind of holiday.
Yeah.
I don't know why ours got like steeped in cultural suppression, other than the fact that that's just what we do here. But
maybe we'll do something else eventually, huh? And then celebrate. Like, why did holidays stop becoming a thing? Why don't we make new holidays all the time of doing better things other than colonizing?
That's really all. I think it's because it's all American history has. We did that, and then we existed for only about 300 years. A lot of that also had problems.
I'm pretty
and
sure
now we're
Thomas Jefferson. I think it was Thomas Jefferson. I think that's the right name. It's strongly opposed Thanksgiving becoming a national holiday.
Really?
Because it was religious. You were supposed to pray. Thomas Jefferson opposed all.
I didn't know that.
Opposed entirely the idea of church and state.
I did hear that Thomas Jefferson, very unlike his Hamilton portrayal, was apparently a nervous wreck and would like sweat profusely and almost vomit every time he had to like do public speaking.
That makes total sense to me.
Phoenix Rising says it's probably a whitewashed holiday of a Native American holiday. That makes the most sense. I would put my money on that.
Isn't every holiday just a worse version of the actual pagan holiday? Pretty sure that's true.
It's Christianity's fault again. Anyway.
Name one thing that's not Christianity's fault. Go.
I literally just went through all the worst things in my head, and they can all be connected back to Christianity in some way. We have anybody who's just joining us and Christian. We don't hate Christians. It's just legitimately. I just had a moment where I was like, okay, murder, no. Pedophilia, no. Just going through the list of things.
If you're mad that we hate Christian, I'm also Christian. I just don't subscribe to what I call Christian.
Anyway, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Also, that was a little bite-sized version of what the show usually is. But there's also some fun things. So I legitimately wanted to bring up Christmas stuff.
Oh, it has nothing to do with Native Americans. Light says the event that Americans commonly call the first Thanksgiving was celebrated by the Pilgrims after their first harvest in a new world. So they just had some good plants and they decided to sit down and eat. That has nothing to do with what I thought Thanksgiving was about.
That makes sense. That also makes sense. The Native Americans were added later, just as part of like a hey, we were friends and we didn't kill them thing, probably. I assume he's just quoting the Wikipedia article for it, which I trust more than I trust my Texas high school education on the subject. So,
yeah.
Christmas.
What?
You had a thing written on your idea list, which was an advent calendar, and I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
I think we should set up like a countdown thing for December,
Christmas.
And I should get some new Christmas music, and we should go get our decorations, and we should throw them up around the set, and we should make it all Christmassy for the month, because I think that'd be super fun.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I'm so mad.
Why are you mad?
No, we should do the
You just woke up.
I'm mad. I'm so mad at Faith.
I'm just gonna call her out on the live stream.
Yeah, she doesn't. Well, I don't give a shit. I'm so freaking angry. My best friend posted a picture with her and 15 other people not wearing masks at a Halloween party on her Instagram. And I was like, there's a pandemic. And she was like, I have my opinions and you have your opinions. And I'm like, what? I can't see my family. I haven't been able to see my family in a year because you and everyone like you is existing right now. I'm so mad.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to not be mad at this person? How do people get over fights with people in their lives? Because it seems... I'm pretty fucking mad. I don't know how anybody stays friends with people after they do shit like that. What do you do? How do you even do that?
I don't have a great answer because I also woke up 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, fine.
But yeah, no, I understand.
Autumn says Allison is only mad. It's true. I don't feel a lot of other emotions. Only anger.
It's pretty crazy. Honestly, I think probably just be mad for a bit of that. Because I don't know. I don't think it has to necessarily completely ruin the friendship if you can talk to her about it, but she's also really hard to talk things about. So I don't know. It's really frustrating that anybody is doing that kind of thing right now. I mean, it's definitely like that is the reason why I can't go see my that's kind of why we're sort of ignoring today too, because normally we would last year we had my family, your family, and all of our friends over to our house for the first time, and it was a huge deal because I had never hosted a holiday in my entire life. It's sort of the most adult thing I'd done. And we cooked food, and we had everybody over, and it was a big event, and it was super fun. We were so excited to make that a thing. And now this year we just can't see anybody. The only reason we're able to see your family is because we live with them now. But if we'd still been back at home, we would have just been sitting at home just like any other day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what my parents are currently doing, because people are going to Halloween parties. So not that I think anybody here is doing that, but don't do that. Wear masks places and don't go to parties.
Yeah. Phoenix Rising says you can't stay angry at everyone forever. It's shitty for your mental health.
That's true. That's
I'm not mad at
the best
everybody.
argument
I'm
against
mad
it.
at her. I'm not friends with other people who do terrible things. I'm mad at her for doing a terrible thing. That's who I'm mad at. The end. I mean, I am mad at other people for doing terrible things, but it's not keeping me up at night when other people do it. I'll just speak out about it, but I'm so freaking angry, dude.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Wano says, just hide it deep down inside and distract yourself with something else. Ah, yes. The Irish way.
How do you guys function, dude?
My entire family. You said very successfully, honestly. You've seen me operate day to day.
Yeah.
It's because I don't feel things. You just push them down.
Grace says you...
Don't think about it.
Grace says also, just staying mad at this person will not change their behavior, so there's not point to staying mad, except for destroying your own mental health. Yeah, but like, how do you... You guys just not get mad? You just not tell people that they need to change? I don't understand how this mindset works. How do people change in your life if you don't tell them that you're angry at them? Is that not normal?
Have you told her? I mean, you've talked to her,
She's like, I won't talk to you about this while you're angry. Which is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. No, that's not how that works.
It sounds like you. Jordan coming in with the expected and best advice. They drink,
Drinking?
Allison.
Yo. Can't.
Our plan today is making lots of food, drinking alcohol, and playing some super fun board games. So I'm looking forward to today.
I'm gonna try.
Because that's
drinking today?
pretty much all I want to do most of the time. So that sounds great.
That sounds pretty nice, actually.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna drink. Today's the day. Get some good winter drinks. Get some good like hot chocolate with some Fireball mixed in. I'm doing. I'm specifically backing off of. So I for most of the year I actually wasn't really drinking because it was just you and me at home.
Yeah.
And it just felt weird. Like it just wasn't fun.
Yeah.
To drink while it was the two of us because you were usually panicking and I associated drinking with like partying and being with people. So like just doing it at home alone, depressed while you're in a panic was like never a good idea for any reason.
Yeah.
So I just didn't for most of this year. Then we moved here, and now Thomas has White Claw all the time. And there's a bunch of other people around, so it doesn't like affect you anymore.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it more often.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to like do my cutting phase on my exercise routine, so I'm cutting it out mostly, except for today and Christmas, because those are that's what you do on those days.
Yeah.
That's my plan. Gaslight Studios, I like that name, is either of you guys play tabletop 40k. I've never attempted to play 40k. I'm not against it, but it feels like one of those things I need to just like set a day aside for if I ever wanted to try. It looks insanely complicated.
Oh, an improv D&D game would be fun too.
For this show?
No, for Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, we could probably do something like
show.
that. I thought you meant for this, because we were talking about doing the adventure, the choose your own adventure.
We do have that today. We're gonna do that. We should probably start soon. I don't actually know how long it is.
Oh yeah, fair enough. We've only been going for 12 minutes though, because we started late.
Okay,
we can
start.
Finish the quarter of the show. But yeah, I have gotten. Ricky got me super into board games over the last year, because that's pretty much all he does, and he's like vetted all of them. So he showed us all the best ones, and then I just recently went and like bought all my own copies, and so I'm excited to be playing those and also exploring some new ones. If anybody has any suggestions, actually, let me know. The ones that I bought that I like, in case it helps with suggestions, are the Disney Villainous game is great. I just got Cosmic Encounter, Betrayal. We got Sushi Go for like party stuff, for like simple party stuff. What else do we have? Legendary, I think. The Marvel Legendary game I really like also, and I got that one. So yeah, if anybody has any suggestions for fun like group board games along those lines, I'd be happy to look them up. So you said a fan wrote this one?
Yeah, Smallsplat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is he here today? Oh yeah, he is. Thank you to Smallsplat for writing this choose your own adventure that I assume you kind of skimmed over.
Do you want to do it? What?
What do you mean?
Do you want to read it?
Oh, do I want to read it to you?
You got on to me for reading last time.
Did I?
Yeah.
I got on to you for reading?
I mean, you told me that I sucked at reading out loud and was worse than you afterwards, yeah. So would you like to read it?
I can if you want me to.
Do you want to?
Sure.
Okay, I'll let you read it.
This is gonna be an angry run.
Do you want something from me?
I just want you to be happy.
How about you go yell at Faith?
I don't think I would do as good of a job as you would.
You wouldn't?
I don't think you would like me doing that for you.
No, I wouldn't like that.
This is like coded.
Mm-hmm.
Is this just like HTML pages?
I don't know.
Hyperlinked.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
It worked well when I was
looks nice.
scrolling through it. So.
Thank you, Smallsplat. Autumn says, no, Allison, we all told you sucked reading. That sounds more like what I remember happening.
Yeah, no, it's funny that he remembers it that way, because it was him and it was you. Alright, go for it.
Okay. Your eyes open to the ceiling, your head and back hurting like hell as you look up the 10-foot drop above you. You take a deep breath and slowly sit up, becoming aware that the area you have fallen into is lit by torchlight, giving color to the circular room you're in. The round wall is divided into sections with pillars, with all but one of the sections housing a sole wooden door with little indication of what's behind it. The remaining section has 3 display cases, each with a message inscribed on it. Would you like to inspect a door, open a door, or inspect the displays?
I can't listen when people are reading out loud, so maybe I should do it.
What?
I don't remember anything
What
you
just
said.
happened? What was the scene?
You're in like a dark circle room, right?
A cab, yeah.
I can't listen. I don't know why I've never been able to listen to when people just talk out loud, like
Really?
reading. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I can listen to teachers sometimes, sort of, but I have to be like drawing.
Is that why you can't do audiobooks?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how anybody does audiobooks.
That's probably why you don't like listening to podcasts either. Wait, how do you have conversations? What is it about reading that changes it?
It's very hard to listen to people, but I can usually, like, in conversations... Sorry, that sounds so rude. In conversations, I can usually pay enough of attention because, like, there's a back and forth.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's an expected response for someone to say, like, even if I don't know what they're gonna say, I can, like, expect what they're gonna say. Just not like what they're gonna say, but that they're gonna say something related to what we're talking about.
Is it just like the rhythm of reading something?
Yeah, it just gives me time. Yeah, just tune out. Like I have to cancel out constant like talking sound with doing sound for me to listen to one of them.
Yeah.
If it's just me sitting here, then I'm gonna think about like anything else.
I'm not trying to make fun of you, I'm just legitimately curious about this. Do you have trouble hearing like song lyrics? Because I've heard other people talk about like how they'll listen to music and their brain just won't retain the words of the song.
No, I do not have that problem with music at all.
That's interesting. But you do with reading.
Yeah, but music is hard because music is almost like physically triggering for me. Music, like...
Oh, just like emotionally, kind of? Because of the music backup?
Yeah, music forces me to listen because it makes me feel, like, emotional if I'm listening. Any music.
So if I
literally
rapped
any music.
this...
I could probably listen, yeah. Might work a little bit better.
Alright, so future, if you ever want Allison to play one of these, you have to write it in iambic pentameter and give me, like, a beat or at least a melody to go along with. And then she'll be able to play. If you write a musical Choose Your Own Adventure, then Allison can do it.
Grace says, what if someone is telling a story? If people are talking to me, I totally listen. That's not really a problem in the same way.
Yeah.
It occasionally can be. There's been multiple times where Kyle will just like drone on about something, and I'm like, you have to repeat the middle part and the end part because I tuned out.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I asked that question, but you actually tune out of things that I say a lot.
I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just like, I just have a lot of things to think about, and then they just start happening in my brain without my consent. And then I'm like, wait, I wanted to listen. Please explain what you were saying. But no, like during conversations or storytelling or jokes or songs, like if someone is talking to me, then I can usually get it. But like if someone's reading out loud or teaching or something, like I can watch YouTube videos mostly just fine. But to be fair, I only ever watch YouTube videos when I'm doing other things or else I can't pay any attention. So anyway, so what do you do?
I guess let's flip it then and I'll play through this one instead.
Alright, so same thing to you, but you inspect the door, you open the door, or you inspect the displays.
I will inspect the displays.
Okay. You walk up to the displays and crouch down to read the inscriptions. 1. As light as a feather and useful to wear. 2. A product of cold for those who are warm. And 3. After the orb. So do you put an item in the first display, put an item in the second display, put an item in the third display?
Do I have items?
I think so. Well, you must, because it says to put an item in a display.
I'll put one in in the first one. Put an item in the first display to see what happens.
You can also inspect the door or open a door.
Put an item in the first display.
Okay.
If I have an item.
I guess so. Alright. As light as a feather and useful to wear, you must take a step back. Items you have found will appear here.
Oh, okay, so I do have to go explore first. Wow, man,
Okay.
this is detailed.
Okay.
Good job.
Alright.
For anybody just joining, we're doing a little choose your own adventure thing made by Smallsplat here in the chat.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, I will go inspect a door.
Okay, inspect the door.
Always inspect before opening.
Alright,
There
you
could
walk
be a
up
fire
to
on the other side.
You walk up to the wooden door. Due to a history as an adventurer, you are not a door maker. You can only conclude that this is in fact a wooden door.
But what about? But I put my hand up to the doorknob, the back of my hand, to see if it's hot first.
Would you like to open the door or inspect the displays?
I guess I'll open the door.
Open the door, he says. After having inspected the door for a while, you decide to slowly push the door open. A clearing with a forest larger than the room could ever possibly contain is in front of you as a cold breeze brushes your face.
Oh.
Would you like to inspect the displays, enter the forest, or open another door?
Are there multiple doors? Did I miss that?
Apparently.
Okay. I'll go in the forest.
Okay.
Real quick though, Grace Huntsman said the door looks like it's made of door. which I enjoyed. Reminded me of one of my favorite memes, which is just that weird like Buzz Lightyear, like looking down at the long neck Buzz Lightyear looking down at the bed. It's like aliens and alien invasion movies. It's like, ah yes, the ground here is made of USA.
Fair enough. It says, as you step into the forest, you notice the clearing is surrounded by thorny bushes. Something large in the shadow skitters away as you scan the forest skyline. Would you like to look out into the forest or inspect the bushes? You're in the forest now. I don't think you're going back.
I will look out into the forest and I will ignore what's in the bushes.
Okay. You
If
step
I
through...
leave it alone, it will probably leave me alone. That's how that works, right?
Yeah. You step through the door, and scanning the forest, you notice more things dashing out of view. Whatever is in the forest, there is a lot of them, and they don't want to be seen. Do you want to chase after one, inspect the bushes, or leave immediately?
You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna chase one.
Okay. Alright. You try and charge through the bushes, but they are much thicker than you realized. You can't realistically walk through this without being torn to shreds. As you turn around, a huge deer is stood, its glowing eyes staring deep into your screen. A smaller deer started to appear around you from behind the trees. Would you like to leave immediately or stare back?
It's staring into my screen.
That is what it says.
I will stare back.
Stare back. Squaring up to the challenge, you stare back into the deer's eyes until you realize you're no longer in your own body. The man you used to control gets up, highly confused and
What?
obviously distressed, and tries to escape into the forest. The bushes part in his wake with some of the deer following him. The ringleader approaches you, its glowing, unblinking eyes staring into your soul. You can feel reality around you collapsing, your form in this world. You are disconnected. Error. Player character missing. Internal breach recognized. Unable to respond. Self-preservation protocols activated. Terminating session. Game over. You've disconnected from your body.
Well, god damn it.
You died! We should pick that up on another day and do different things.
Was that
Just
it? Are we stopping?
You died! What do you mean?
Smallsplat says, congratulations, Kyle, you died as quickly as physically possible.
Oh my god. What do we do with you? To be fair,
I didn't know what kind of game it was going to
warning
be.
for anyone who wants to help do these, Kyle is always going to choose the most dangerous options of all things.
Not necessarily. Depends on the mood I'm in that day.
Leave the room, walk into the haunted forest, chase the things that are haunting the forest, stare down the thing that showed up after chasing the things that are haunting the forest.
It might not have
Die.
been dangerous.
It's true. It might not have been.
It depends on who was baking it. I didn't know what kind of story Smallsplat was telling.
That's true. I agree. Staring contest, deer wins.
Didn't I die in the murder mystery also somehow?
Yeah, you did.
I tripped down the stairs, or was I pushed by the doctor?
Ooh, that's hard to know. We went back and lied.
Cool. Well, my new goal, I guess, is to die at every one of these then.
I think we should start it up on another day and just see how many different ones we can go
Just try to do the same one, but later.
Yeah, we'll explore all the other options of it. So did you love it?
It was. I'm honestly, yeah, I was impressed with the setup.
It's pretty impressive. Actually.
I kind of like if it were just me, I'd go back and keep messing with it and keep going down different paths to see what would happen because it's pretty detailed. Good job with the design. Like there was like item collection and supposedly, and we didn't actually get to it to see if it worked, but
yeah, no, it was pretty cool.
I'm sorry for ruining your game so fast. We'll come back to it. We'll do it again. We'll do a second one on a future show.
Yeah. They specifically told me there were ways to die, but I wasn't going to tell you that because I expected you did. So
it probably would have been good to know.
No.
Then I would have made decisions a little bit differently.
No. We need to know what you would have done.
But in real life, I make decisions differently because I know I can die based on some of those decisions.
Look, literally BuzzFeed wrote one and you could die. You had your actual, like fans write one, and you didn't think they were going to make a way that you could die? BuzzFeed bothered.
Well, I'll be more cautious in the future, I guess.
Bro, I hate today.
Don't hate today. It's going to be a fun day.
Is it?
Yes. We filmed a video. We have a video coming out on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Turns out not Monday, so I actually get an extra day, which is great. We got an email from them today giving me the exact date and time for it. It's another Paradox game it's called Empire of Sin, and it's kind of like XCOM except with more Paradox strategy stuff and also your 1920s mobsters. We may have mentioned it on an episode already. But we just did a whole video, and it was super difficult and very rewarding and turned out very well, and I'm excited to get it up. It's very weird.
Yeah.
But we ended up doing we got like the whole group in on it by setting up we have very similar rooms in this house and in the other Doormaster house. So we got both groups to film parts identically with a whole lot of planning. And I'm also doing a bunch of VFX tricks to make it look like we're in the same room. So you guys will be the only ones in on the secret when the video comes out. I'm gonna see how many people I can trick into thinking we were all in the same space. But I'm excited for it. It's gonna be cool. And I've already had it mostly edited in 4 days to refine it and do the effects and stuff, which is cool. So yeah, look for that on Tuesday. Can I get you you made a coffee, didn't you? Or do you like the coffee?
I think I made your coffee. No, I made my coffee. It's probably cold. I'll get it. Entertain the masses.
Did you post the Photoshop Empire Sin stuff?
No.
Oh.
I gave everybody till Friday.
What are you guys talking about then? Dude, they're saying, can we take a moment to appreciate Major's Photoshop job?
Oh, he posted it in the Discord.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Wait, I wish I could pull that up on the stream easily. Might be able to, actually.
He did a really great job. I'm probably not going to use his, though.
But it was for the Empire Sin thing?
Yeah, it was.
Allison...
I'm not going to use this because he has people in the video who aren't in the video, I think. Oh, no, that's not true, actually. I can use this.
Allison's doing a Twitter contest where she's asking people to Photoshop the Doormaster crew onto the Empire of Sin box art. So if you go check out the Discord, you can join in on that. I think she set the deadline for Friday, tomorrow.
Some people said they were doing real special things, but I haven't heard back from any of those people. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are chat's Thanksgiving plans? I'm curious to hear what anybody else is doing on quarantine Thanksgiving. If there's any fun ideas that I can take and also enjoy myself.
I don't have Photoshop. I'm poor. Steal it.
Okay, I have kind of a topic actually. I was recently listening to a Corridor podcast. And I've always used Adobe software, And I've never questioned Adobe software. It's always been, at one point it was like the thing I wanted more than anything else in the world at a certain point in my life was Adobe Flash. I wanted that so bad in middle school because I just wanted to make animations.
Yeah.
But it was $700 because you could only buy it, like they didn't have the subscription service at the time, so you could only buy the software outright.
Yeah.
And it was like a whole thing for like 3 years. I really wanted it. My parents couldn't afford it, and I couldn't afford it. And eventually I bought a $45 program from Walmart that let me animate something, and I made Yoda's Christmas with it, which is still available on our channel.
Yeah.
And was the first thing on YouTube to actually like get views and comments of mine. It's awful. It's actually literally fan fiction. I didn't realize that was a thing when I was doing it, but that's what it is. It's Star Wars fan fiction. It's really weird Star Wars fan fiction.
Fan fiction can be alright.
Sorry. I was on fan fiction scale. It's very mild Star Wars fan fiction. But eventually, I finally I graduated. I think I finished that, and then also got out of middle school, and then they got me an actual copy of Flash, and that's what I made all my animations with. But anyway, ever since then, like Adobe has been, I've defended Adobe against people. I went to film school during the time when people were still arguing that like Final Cut was worth anything over Premiere, and by the time I graduated college, everybody had changed their mind and come over to my side. Nobody uses Final Cut anymore.
Yeah.
So basically, Adobe is just the industry standard at this point for everything, which unfortunately ends up becoming a problem.
Yeah.
When anybody is the one go-to, service for any particular thing.
Yeah.
Corridor was talking about like a couple things that bothered them about Adobe products. They were like, we're sponsored by Adobe, but we just wanted to kind of review the software because we use it all the time. And I was like, what could possibly be wrong with Adobe software? And they're just like, why isn't Photoshop generated thumbnails for RAW files yet? And I was like, wait a minute, yeah. And they were like, why does every single time I open Adobe software on my $5,000 computer, does it have to go through 10 minutes of showing me a little image loading screen before it just opens up? And I'm like, yeah, why does it do that? So I spent this whole podcast suddenly realizing all these problems I have with Adobe software. And now I can't stop being annoyed with it every time I open it up for different reasons. Now it's just like the glass shattered, and now every time I use it, I'm like, that's dumb, and that's dumb, and that's dumb, and they could fix that easily, and why are they doing any of this?
Yeah. I feel that way about...
Thank you for the coffee.
Everything. Yeah, sure.
About everything. But the main point was like every single update, Adobe introduces these new features without going back and polishing the ones everybody uses consistently.
Yeah.
Recently, they updated Photoshop and they inverted what the Shift key does when you're resizing things. Used to, it would auto deform, and you hold the Shift key to lock it into single aspect ratio, and they flipped it. Why?
Who asked for that?
Why do that?
They're the worst.
I mean, they're not the worst.
Adobe
they're
is
just
kind
the
of
only
awful.
choice. And so anything
they won't even let you pay for the service once.
That does kind of. I'm not 100% certain that's true. I think you might still technically be able to buy.
I don't think you can.
A flat copy.
No.
I would need to look it up first before I said that for sure.
That might be true, actually.
I think you can. It's just in doing so you don't get the updates. But that was their main thing, is like most of the features that you use on any one Adobe software probably were introduced 6 years ago. Right? Like it's not like the updates are not like of essential features. They never that was their problem. They were like they never go back and fix up the core tools that everyone uses every single day. They always go and throw in the same like they throw in new stuff all the time, which is also cool. It's just, if Adobe suddenly updates and changes something and I'm in the middle of a big project, it kind of wrecks everything.
You mentioning that you wrote a Star Wars fanfiction just reminded me of that one TikTok that was like, what is being attracted to each Star Wars character mean about you?
Right.
It was Obi-Wan, and it was daddy issues, and then it was Anakin, and it was daddy issues, and then it was Kylo Ren, and it was daddy issues, and then it was
Boba Fett, also
Boba
daddy
Fett,
issues.
daddy issues, and then it was the main guy. Who the fuck's the main guy's name?
Luke?
No. Pew pew.
I don't know how else to answer that question.
Gun boy.
Gun boy?
Harrison Ford.
Oh. Han Solo.
Han Solo. Daddy issues.
Surprise.
And that was really funny. And I think probably opened my eyes to the writer of Star Wars and some of the issues they might have had growing up. Han Solo. See, they got it.
The main guy, pew pew. Maybe
You can't tell me that's not enough.
here. Let's
They got it.
for the last little bit. Let's vent your anger into something that has always cat. Stay off the tapestry. Anyway, something that is always you've always aimed your anger at. Let's just do a little bit of Star Wars rant for a minute.
All right.
So Allison,
Hate Star Wars.
Allison doesn't like Star Wars. Prepare for the barrage.
Han Solo doesn't have daddy issues. No, it's not that he has daddy issues. You have daddy issues if you like Han Solo.
I like Star Wars the same way anybody else who grew up watching Star Wars likes Star Wars, and I really appreciate the historical, like the film world historical significance of Star Wars. I also love everything that Star Wars promises it could be. However, after learning more and more about storytelling, after kind of talking to Allison about the reasons she doesn't like Star Wars, and after rewatching all the new movies, I'm of the opinion that there's a better potential version of Star Wars without changing a lot of details, just in the hands of like better filmmakers. I feel like the promise of what Star Wars is, like the thing that Star Wars promises itself to be, is actually a lot better than what it usually ends up being, which is why every single movie that comes out, at least 50% of Star Wars fans hate it, right? Like that's why, like, because everyone has a different picture of what they want out of the franchise, because the world's huge and the story is narrow and usually not told very well.
Yeah.
And your version of this was you explained that your brother described Star Wars to you before you ever watched it, and did a better job of telling the story than the movie did for you. And so we've talked before about like it'd be really fun if like we were going to be sued by Disney to just like remake Star Wars. Like how fun would that be?
That would be great.
Because my favorite part of Star Wars is all the behind the scenes information on how the movie was made. Like, Star Wars was the first thing, seeing behind the scenes on Star Wars, I think was the first thing that kind of, like, showed me that how cool filmmaking was.
Yeah.
And that I could maybe do it. Because it broke down the magic of it a little bit, right? But didn't make it uninteresting, I guess. It was like, okay, they're not actually in space, but they're using crazy magic tricks and computer technology to make it look like it's in space, and that's cool, and maybe that's something I could do one day. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, that's I just wanted to throw out that idea of, like, I think it'd be super fun to do like a Door Monster remake of Star Wars. Yeah. Because I used to hold Star Wars in this really, really like up on a pedestal. Like no one can remake it. It would be stupid. Like it wouldn't make any sense to remake the movie. It's iconic. You got all like those actors are those characters. But now I'm kind of just like curious to see what like a different like, you know, like rewind the clock. What would a different person's take on Star Wars be? I'd be interested to see. Because another thing that sold me on this was. I feel like you're spacing out on basically everything.
This is actually the one time I'm listening.
Okay.
Like right now. Like I
really?
spaced out for the last 5 minutes. I wasn't listening to a single thing you said, but you said something that clicked and now I'm thinking about it, so I'm listening to you intently. What were you going to say?
I was going to say The Mandalorian is out now. And to me, The Mandalorian, I started watching that and I was like, oh, this is what I wanted Star Wars to feel like pretty much all the time. This is great. Like I freaking love The Mandalorian. Yeah. I have not started watching the new season yet. I really need to go in and start watching that one. But I watched the whole first season, and yeah, like to me, that's what the world they created feels like it should. That's what it seems like it should look like on screen. It should be this big open world, and then telling really small stories in the middle. Is kind of what I think Star Wars works best as.
Yeah. The problem is that Star Wars isn't about fucking anything. Like the problem.
The problem is that it's not about anything, but it could be about so many things. There's so many different opportunities, and for some reason they're just like this one whiny family and their laser swords for some reason every single time.
Is that even what it's about though? Like
loosely, so there's always a Skywalker in there.
One Star Wars, like the original trilogies, they're not good. Like I know you like that. Like okay, so Star Wars talks about, like, it drops a lot of really good ideas that we, viewers, are allowed to run with and think are super cool. The expansive universe is really cool. The relationship dynamic between all the original characters. A lot of really cool things. The speed racing and the lightsabers, like, it gives us a lot of cool shit. So that it's a facade. We can be like, wow, all of this is cool. But then when you watch it, like, as a movie, like, someone who wasn't raised on just, like, Star Wars is the best shit ever,
sure, yeah.
just, like, forced to watch it from that perspective, and you actually just, like, watch it, you're like, this is unbearable. The acting is really bad. The storytelling is really weird. The plot is dry and takes, like, forever to dig through. And, like, I know that they're, like, kind of doing stuff, but, like, so Anakin's, like, a super good speed racer, right? That's, like, one
Those
of the
are the prequels. That's a different series. You're talking about the originals, aren't you?
Yeah. Who's the one that...
not in that.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Luke.
That's the Luke Skywalker trilogy. So
yeah.
I agree with you on those. I give them a pass historically because I think it's important. Because I think in the context of the decades that they came out, they didn't feel like that at all.
That's a different argument. Arguing that they were good for the time is different than
you're
they're
right.
still good.
It is a different argument. We won't get into that argument today. But I agree that, like, even in the early movies, looking at them now, there definitely was, like, more promise than there was delivery. And I think did Autumn mention that I'm glad that everyone's kind of coming around on the prequels are probably the best versions of the Star Wars movies, because I also kind of feel that way.
They're the only ones I could freaking stomach.
I think they're the
about
best
the one
iteration. Those are the ones with Anakin, and in the past with the whole Jedi Knight Order still around and stuff like that, because they pick that story, and I'm interested in the story. It's the only one I can think of where I'm not more interested in what's happening in the background than what's happening in the foreground, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm actually, like, I'm at least interested in the story they're handing to me, instead of looking for other things behind the story.
The newest Star Wars ones, I actually liked pretty okay. I thought they did a lot of really good things, but I only watched the first one, maybe?
Yeah, I think you and I watched the first two.
The second one, I was like, okay, well, what's the same kind of thing, like, what's happening? And then I didn't watch the third one. But mostly, like, Star Wars has this problem of, like, here's a concept, and then they just, like, rip it away from you, and you're like, wait, what? What is going on? What are you, what story is Star Wars trying to tell? And so the reason Star Wars got ruined for me is Thomas is a huge Star Wars fan. And he just sat down and, like, told me everything that Star Wars is about, which is this amazing serial adventure of a young boy who grows up to find find out who his father is, blah, 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 and all this stuff about the balance of good and evil. And it was really, he told me this just, like, super freaking amazing story because I'd never seen Star Wars. So then I go and I watch Star Wars and I'm like, oh god, awful. Because he told me what Star Wars could have been. He set up what he was seeing
It's always better in your head than what you end up seeing.
Well, but that's the thing about Thomas, is every time he watches anything, he sees what's supposed to be there and gets really hyped for it. And I do that with some things. But I didn't have the leeway and forgiveness for Star Wars that other people seem to have, because I watched it. I was just like, this is none of the things he promised me. They're like, this kid. And you're like, cool, that kid. And they're like, no. This guy. And you're like, that guy.
Well,
no.
I think this is why, like, if you ask anybody what their favorite Star Wars movies are, everyone has different answers, too. Like, even in the chat, people are mentioning which ones they like. Everyone has different answers, and it feels like their answer should be correct most of the time. But, like, everyone kind of has their own thing. And there's lots of different, like, there's spotty parts of movies for me, even. Like, there are parts of so I think as a whole, you're right about the originals, but there are bits from the originals that are, like, masterpieces now. Like, there are pieces of the original movies, like the entire...
That's what I'm saying, though, is, like, that they give you little tiny pieces of things, and you're like, ooh, that's great, and then
they're
they
not
just
threaded together
ruin
well,
it.
though. Like, the entire, the entire Hoth fight, the snow planet fight against, like, the walkers...
Oh, you mean, like, visually?
I mean, storytelling-wise, too. I mean, yeah, movies are visual storytelling, but yes, like, during that scene, like, I've never seen anything like that scene in a movie since then, actually. Like, that was an entirely original concept for, like an action piece.
Yeah.
I don't think I've never seen anything that wasn't directly imitating that feel like that before or since.
It's also hard because all the things I do like about the Star Wars movies are supposedly all the things you're not allowed to like as a Star Wars fan, like the prequels.
Right. It's all the stuff
better.
people...
They're just better.
Well, yeah, it's because I think people are kind of on the same page about that now, because the people who were kids when the prequels came out have now grown up, and are adult enough to defend their opinion. Because
Yeah.
previously it was just diehard original Star Wars fans that were like, oh, the prequels suck, I can't believe this happened. And now all the kids who watched them when they were kids have grown up and they're like, prequels were actually pretty good.
They are. They're okay.
I mean, they're at
they're
least as good. This was the argument Ian used to make all the time, which is like, what exactly do the prequels have that what are the prequels missing that the originals had? Was it like stellar acting? Was it super tight storytelling? Was it amazing special effects? Like what is it that you're missing suddenly from that was there previously?
I feel like and I could be wrong about this, but me as an average viewer of Star Wars and not someone who's extensively watched it over and over again, there's multiple things that I remember seeing and being like, when does that become relevant again? Tiny bear creatures? Luke being really good at racing things?
That's Anakin, it's a different character.
No, Anakin.
Okay, also...
No, Luke is the one that's good at racing things.
No.
You just told me that I was wrong about Anakin being in the prequels.
No, I said you were talking about the original. The original trilogy and the prequels are two different series.
Yes.
One has Luke, one has Anakin.
Who's the one that races things?
Anakin. But he's not in the original trilogy, which is what we were talking about when you brought him up before.
I'm talking about the original one.
That doesn't have Anakin in it.
Okay.
The prequels are first in the timeline, but in real-life releases, there's the original trilogy with Luke Skywalker. They did Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader for 3, and they jumped backward in the timeline and did Anakin, like, becoming Darth Vader for that one. And then we have the new ones, which is after all of it.
What does Luke do then? He's already an adult.
Luke is a whiny farm boy who gets given a laser sword and does, like, the most classic hero's journey ever.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the fucking point of racing then?
Nothing except that it's also definitely one of the best parts of any of the Star Wars movies. The part where they where they endanger a child for the sake of winning money to repair a spaceship is objectively one of the best parts of the entire story.
People keep talking about Jar Jar. That's not the fault of Star Wars. Like, Jar Jar is... He's honestly fine compared to some of the shit that Star Wars does. Like, you don't have to like Jar Jar. I don't love Jar Jar. But, like, people, like, the Star Wars fan base like to think that Jar Jar is the issue. Jar Jar is not the issue.
Well, he's not the only issue.
He's not the reason people don't like Star Wars.
He's not the, no, he's the reason Star Wars fans don't like Star Wars.
Star Wars fans don't like Star Wars. I think that's my biggest problem with Star Wars. Nobody likes it. Even the fans don't like Star Wars. No one likes Star Wars. You can't convince me that anybody likes Star Wars.
Hey, Rustage is here. Hi, Rustage.
Uh-oh.
Thanks for joining.
Hi, Rustage.
We're trashing Star Wars because Allison's angry at general things.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to divert it into a sinkhole. Or to a heat sink, rather.
I haven't seen The Mandalorian. I have seen some of The Mandalorian. I thought it was kind of boring.
It's a Western, so if you don't like the pacing of Westerns, it's probably a little bit too slow. The way that it handles the actual, like, Star Wars universe and tells a story in it is the best that I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah. There's just, like, there's so many good stories within Star Wars that they don't give me, that I just, like, want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, same. That's why, like, and I think that's why The Mandalorian did so good, is because literally since the second movie came out, like in 1970, whatever, anybody has ever wanted is a Boba Fett movie. Like, the second that character appeared on screen, everyone was like, I want a movie about that guy, and it took them 40 years to do it.
Yeah. They also did Princess Leia, like, super dirty.
They did.
What the fuck? Like, that character is just... horrendous.
There are retroactively a lot of problems with Star Wars.
I'm glad she grows up and becomes a fucking badass in the new ones. Like, at least those exist to do just that.
Yeah.
But she blows. What is that? What were they doing? I mean, I know what they were doing, but don't do it. Don't do what you did to Princess Leia.
You're talking about Metal Bikini, right? That's where we're going.
I'm talking about her whole damn character.
Yeah, okay.
She's like, you know what I'm into? Abusive jackasses. Love it. You know what I'm gonna wear? Only white. You know what I'm not gonna wear? Only white see-through shit?
Thing is,
bikinis.
Again though, like, it was, like, at the time, it was such a progressive step forward. Like, if it weren't for Princess Leia, you wouldn't be able to do, like, feminist rants now. Like, she was definitely an important step towards that.
Yeah, I 100% reject that entire thing that you just said. I won't even hear it. it stopped at my ears. I'll never let you say that to me again.
I don't mean that literally. I just mean it was like in the media it definitely wasn't important. Like at the time it was a pretty progressive female character in the first movie especially.
Yeah.
They did kind of end up ruining it with turning her into a weird slave girl thing like 2 movies later.
Grace says she's kind of stupid. I feel like she almost has the Bond girl personality. She really does.
Yeah, I guess I have never actually seen a Bond movie, but from the little bits I have seen, I guess she does kind of have that going on a little bit.
I just don't understand. And why didn't she kiss with Luke?
I didn't mean to have be at the bottom of the screen this whole time. I think yes.
She didn't kiss Luke, right?
I believe she did.
But there's was it like a pity kiss? I can't remember. It was like a pity kiss, right?
Probably. I don't remember actually. It's been a while since I've seen the.
I just remember she was supposed to have
I just don't think they made the decision that they were related until 2 movies in. So.
Star Wars is bad, guys. You can't really convince me otherwise. I'll take my criticisms about Darth Vader back because of what we've talked about on the show before. But that's it.
Anyway, my point was I really want to remake Star Wars myself, but I don't think I legally can do that. So.
I like the newest ones probably the most, but I didn't finish them because I watched a video on what they did wrong, and I can't really unsee it.
That's the main thing. Is literally every Star Wars movie I've been able to go find a YouTube video where somebody goes, "Here's how you do this story better," and in 3 minutes I'm like, well, god damn it, I want to watch that now instead of what I actually watched.
Yeah, I don't.
And it's just little tweaks. It's not even big stuff.
Okay, so someone answered the question, and it's the worst answer, which is it was a spite kiss against Han.
Oh, okay.
The incest part of Star Wars is not a big deal. It's just not. It doesn't bother me at all, and I think it makes sense within the confines of the world that they set up.
True.
But
they wouldn't know.
It just doesn't. It doesn't.
They never address
matter.
it. Of course, but.
I mean, but even the Kylo Ren and Rey stuff, it's all a little in the family.
Yeah. That's really the main problem, is all the main trilogies are just way too in the family all the way through. They picked a bad group of people to follow.
They have to at least be cousins, right? Because I don't believe... Spoilers maybe, but isn't Rey a Skywalker?
No, she's not. Isn't she didn't they decide she was I actually didn't see the last movie, but I heard that they made her related to Emperor Palpatine or something, which is I don't know. They carried on the tradition of making stupid decisions, from what I hear.
But at least the newest ones are enjoyable to watch, visually.
I liked the second of the new trilogy quite a bit, actually. I thought it went on too long, but there were certain things I liked. The idea. That's what it was. They introduced the idea that hey, being a Jedi isn't actually a special thing. Anyone can do it. I loved the idea that Rey, they were no, Rey's not a Skywalker. She ain't anybody. She just has the Force. And I was okay, I'm on board now. And then from what I hear, they completely destroyed that in the 3rd movie. So who freaking cares?
Yeah. Albert says, I disagree. There is a myriad of cinema and media that by the early 70s had started advancing strong women in film. I cannot think of a single thing, but I won't say that's untrue. I will only say it wasn't Star Wars.
That might be true. I don't actually...
it might have been Star Wars for movie... I can see a bunch of white movie maker men being wow, Leah's such a badass with total complete agency who definitely does important things and is a great female character. I can see a bunch of people thinking that at the time. For sure. From
what I remember, the main reason Star Wars was super... Star Wars brought in the concept of the high fantasy blockbuster movie. That's kind of what it was, is the main thing.
I know what it did. I know why it's a big deal. I know why it's a big deal, I just don't know why people... I don't know why people are still trying to say they're good movies. I know how important they are.
It's the diehard defense of them as just objectively good movies that is really the only problem, I guess. It's if everybody just kind of acknowledged, yeah, they were good, they were important, they worked at the time. Looking back on it, doesn't really measure up to today's standard, but then what does most of the time? Princess Bride. Princess Bride does somehow, but pretty much anything else doesn't.
Autumn says, hey Allison, do you like Lord of the Rings? Yeah, I fucking love Lord of the Rings.
No, that's an entirely different story. Lord of the Rings is still magic, and I will be incredibly shocked if anyone ever matches what they pulled off 20 years ago.
The flaws that Lord of the Rings has is a pretty standard flaw that most pretty good movies still have, which is really, really pathetic female representation in fantasy.
Yeah. I mean, it was based off of a fantasy novel written by a white British man 100 years earlier, so...
Right.
And
white British men have just never seen, like, a black person or a woman. They just haven't. It's impossible.
Pretty sure they didn't exist in the 1920s. Or whenever Tolkien was alive.
No, but I love Lord of the Rings. Can't say anything bad about Lord of the Rings. Not like in a impactful
Not in a filmmaking sense. No, it's like I
it's
can't
just
think
a good
of
movie.
No one has done. Lord of the Rings is a different category. Like I can't even. There still isn't anything to compare it to. People have tried matching Lord of the Rings since it came out.
Yeah.
But like it is at its full length. You're looking at like 9 hours long of a story, and it works somehow.
Yeah,
and every single part of it is like compelling and interesting. And like I've never been interested in watching how a war plays out until I watched Lord of the Rings. Right? Like that was. I don't think people who don't like Lord of the Rings. Okay, no, I do think people who don't like Lord of the Rings did it wrong. I think something messed up. Maybe like it's expectation, probably.
Yeah, if you go your whole life never seeing it and then watch it and you're like. I mean, it's slow and It
is slow. It's not a sit down and watch a 2-hour action fest kind of thing at all. It's like it's a very different experience than watching most. That's what I was meant. Is like I can't really think of a comparison for it.
Yeah.
I can't even really compare it to something.
I think the good thing about Lord of the Rings that Star Wars could have done and didn't do is that different people are watching different things about Lord of the Rings when they like it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think a lot of men watch it for like high fantasy concepts. And I think a lot of women, and this is such a generalization, people are watching it for all kinds of reasons, but like the relationships between the characters in Lord of the Rings are super good and really interesting. Yeah. And they made really dynamic, fascinating characters. And they made a really cool world, and they did a lot of great things that like appeal to a lot of people. But the Sam Frodo relationship, probably one of the least toxic relationships between men I've ever seen on film. Ever. And I know that's like a meme and shit, but like if you there was a TikTok we literally watched last night, and it was a girl, and she was like, every time I go on a date with a guy, I ask them who their favorite Lord of the Rings character is, because I feel like you can tell a lot about a guy. And she went on a date with a guy whose favorite character was Pippin, so she was safe. No one was worried about her. It was gonna be a good date. Everything was fine. But like you really can't tell a whole lot about like who's Thomas's favorite Lord of the Rings character. Maybe this isn't as obvious as I thought it would be.
I could see a few working for him, actually. Who is he? I feel like he's either an Aragorn or a Legolas guy.
What?
Am I wrong?
Yes!
Who is it?
It's Gandalf.
It's Gandalf. Okay, that also makes sense.
How dare you?
Maybe I just think Thomas is cooler than he is, I guess.
No one is a Legolas guy! No one! Have you ever met a real-life person whose favorite character is Legolas?
Not a man.
No, okay, even if a woman said it was Legolas, they meant Orlando Bloom, and that's not the same. No one's favorite character is Legolas. I've never been more angry at you for dissing my brother in the way that you've just done this. I cannot...
I'm sorry.
Oh, it might be Gimli, too, actually. Thomas's favorite character might be Gimli.
Gimli's pretty great. What was it? Oh, yeah, I was also going to say, like, as a filmmaker, Lord of the Rings is still, like, the only film to me that is just, like, inherently magic. Like now that I've kind of, like, learned CGI and all this different stuff, I'm learning how things work, and now I can look at stuff and I can sort of, like... Well, we were just watching iRobot, made, like, several years after a couple of Lord of the Rings movies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, last night. Mm-hmm. And the whole time I'm just like breaking down all the effects and stuff because I'm like, ooh, that's probably how they did that. I could probably do that way. Like the whole time I'm doing that. Still don't do that with Lord of the Rings.
It's just sold you.
Yeah, it's just completely, and even when I watch behind the scenes stuff on it still, I'm like, it reminds me of when I was a kid, I would watch any behind the scenes anything and just be blown away at the fact that they figured that out, right?
Yeah.
And now, as an adult, I can watch behind-the-scenes stuff, and I can be like, oh, okay, I get it. I could probably imitate this. I understand the building blocks that go into this. But if I watch Lord of the Rings behind-the-scenes stuff, it's like I'm 8 again, and I'm like, they did freaking what?
Yeah.
They needed a location that didn't exist, found it anyway on a national park, and then transplanted the grass out of it into a greenhouse so they could build a temporary road and city just to film this one sequence, and then put it all back? What is wrong with these people?
Phoenix Rising might be a man, because they keep saying that people don't like Orlando Bloom, and that's wrong. That's wrong. People like Orlando Bloom. I love Orlando Bloom. Not even because he's hot. I think he's just probably not a problem. Probably. I don't know. Who knows? But he's hot also. Well, anyway.
I mean, he's not. You have very little in common with other women in terms of what you find attractive in men.
The Lord of the Rings men are, because like all they gave me was men, so it's all I have to assess, like in terms of character and stuff. That's all they gave me was just a fucking shit ton of men. But boy, did they give variety and
that's
interesting characters with really different flaws, and like they really came through with only delivering men, I guess. And then there's like the two women who no one like.
Right.
Right, like unless
they're basically the same character. Actually, just one's older.
Actually, I mean everyone likes Arwen.
Yeah,
that's her name.
The woman.
Yeah, every man in the world likes Arwen, but that's because the only other woman they introduced literally flips her shit at Frodo and like goes like full scary mode. And every man after that was like, can't be attracted to that. Can't do that. She yelled at Frodo. Big scary lady did big scary thing at man. Can't like. She's my favorite, by the way.
Okay.
There's only two!
That makes sense.
There's only two, except for Sam's wife, which I also really like.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her.
She just is like a short, fat woman with curly hair, and I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
How hard was it? Please. Just, please.
Which Hobbit is played by Charlie from Lost? Is it Mary? Is that the name?
Yeah.
I like him.
Is that one Mary? Yeah, that one is Mary. I don't like Mary as much as I like Pippin.
I really want to do the big marathon day also. I brought it up with your family at one point and they're down for it. So sometime in the next couple months I need to do a rewatch because I've seen The Lord of the Rings once.
Yeah.
Because it's such a big thing. You can't just do it over and over again. So I saw it once about 3 years ago and I want to do it again. So we need to do it again. Alright, we're getting push the buttons in. We're going to go ahead and call it for the show today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope all you Americans have a good Thanksgiving, and everybody else also just go eat a bunch of food, because why not?
Have a better day, in spite of mine.
Yes. Robert Stegman gave us a push the button. Or wait, Alpha sent us Puffle Masters. We'll do that one first.
Okay.
Thanksgiving, push the button. You make the best Thanksgiving dinner ever, but the rest of the food you make for the year always tastes bad.
Yeah, I would do that.
Would you really? You
need
sacrifice the year for Thanksgiving?
I need to just sacrifice my constant need for food all the time anyway. So
okay,
if food tastes bad, I probably wouldn't eat it as
good
much.
Good Thanksgiving and also diet.
Yeah, there you go.
Robert Stegman also gave us a Lord of the Rings remake is made and is objectively excellent. However, it's much closer to the books and therefore is made into 6 movies and has Tom Bombadil.
No.
I would say no.
What is a Tom Bombadil?
It's a character from the books that didn't make it into the movies.
What does he do?
Largely nothing, from my recollection.
That's a hell of a name, though. I fucking love that name.
Tom Bombadil. Also, Ian's weird, old man voice comes from that character in a weird roundabout way, because a guy on Newgrounds made videos involving that character, and so we imitate that voice all the time.
Grace did a hard one. She said, Kyle can make a Star Wars remake however he wants, but all the money will go to Disney.
Yeah, okay. I'd do it.
I was also thinking the same thing. Yeah, I would definitely do it too.
But the only reason I paused is because I don't like Disney, but I would definitely do it for no money. That's my entire life. that's my... I will make... you give me enough money to make the thing, I don't give a crap how much I get of that.
I don't think that's what they were asking, though. I think they know that. I think it's more about whether or not you'd be willing to...
Right, it means I have to pay Disney the money to be able to make it, but yeah, I'll do it. Why not? I can introduce a good Star Wars movie to the world and just have fun doing it.
I think more net positive comes out of it.
Yeah.
Disney's already bringing in billions.
Right,
so your positive outcome significantly outweighs the negative outcome.
I agree.
In that scenario, in my mind.
Maybe we should just do a podcast where we rewrite Star Wars. like episodically in the podcast. We just decide how we would do it instead.
Yeah, Luke is a girl.
Realistically, what I would do is I would go in and I would find all the best YouTube videos that describe it. I'd probably just borrow other people's ideas, though, because so many other people have done this. They did
Luke as a girl, and it's just the new ones, and it really didn't help that much.
Yeah, I would actually, so not because...
Ray's alright.
I think Ray's pretty... I think there are ways to go in and not really even change that much stuff and still make them way better. Like, I feel like you could keep all the characters basically the same.
Yeah. But
just immediately improve. Like, there was one YouTube video that I watched that was like, what if in the prequels, after Qui-Gon died, Darth Maul didn't, Obi-Wan was the main character, and then you have a villain built in, and then Anakin's just becoming Darth Vader in the background. And I was like, yep, would have been better. Would have started Obi-Wan Kenobi, which everybody wanted anyway. So, yeah, basically just that. I would love to go back and just remake Star Wars, cast it only with Door Monster actors. The acting would be at least as good, honestly.
I just read one, just looked over and immediately read, Tolkien was Narnia level of closeted gay in the 1930s and 40s, and I'm just like, that is a sick statement.
If that's true, that explains why the story still holds up, honestly.
Wasn't Thomas Jefferson gay? Wasn't one of them gay? It doesn't matter. I should go.
Who knows? Yeah, we're gonna go. Thank you guys for tuning in. Grace Huntsman asks who would play who. We'll get to that next time. Remind me next time, and we'll cast Door Monster as the new Star Wars cast.
Oh wait, what? What?
If we were making a Door Monster Star Wars, she's asking who would play who.
I would play Han Solo, and you cannot change my mind on that. There's not a single other person with a similar personality type within Ricky. Ricky and I would fight for Han Solo. That's just it. Who else?
I don't know.
Give me one.
Maybe your brother. I can see him doing Han Solo, all right.
Better option, yeah, okay.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Happy holiday. We might be back tomorrow. We'll see how destroyed we are by the end of the day. So we'll see you guys maybe tomorrow or Monday. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.